y'all. I texted somebody today. I was like, I'm giving a TED talk tonight. I'll let them know later that was a typo. I'm manifesting it. So we're just going to have a conversation. I want to talk with you guys today about authenticity, but it's a story that requires a little bit of context, so we're going to back this thing up, and y'all have to forgive me. I done practiced so much. I done practiced myself into this Barry White voice. But one of my earliest memories as a child was working with my mother. She had gotten laid off during the dot-com recession and became an entrepreneur by survival. Thank you, Mommy. She's in the crowd. And when doing that, because she became an entrepreneur by survival, she ended up opening up a little table at the Bessemer flea market. And so here I am, 3 years old, down to the flea market. I'm like, all right, Mama, everybody got a snow cone but me. Some got to give. And so, you know, as a rambunctious child, I needed me a little job. So she set up this little thing, and she's like, all right, Rae'Mah, here's your job. As people walk by, let them know you got T-shirts for sale, 5, 10, and 15. So here I am. I'm like, I got T-shirts for sale, 5, 10, and 15. And I was a very shy and reserved child. And so what I didn't know what she was trying to get me trained into was like sharing my personality and using my voice. And so, I mean, now she got me so good I could sell a whole lot of a sock. But that little flea market table ended up turning into a franchise. So here I am. You know, when you have a family business, for those of you guys that have like a family business, you know, you go to school and then after school you end up with your parents. So I get picked up from school and I'd be there at work with my mom. I felt like I was a real hustler. I'm like, I'm a part-time child, part-time employee. Y'all ain't doing it like I'm doing it, you know? And as I got older, you know, I'm realizing I'm really taking these lessons in from my mom. Like I'll say, like one of the most important lessons that I feel like I learned from her from business was that people are really coming to you because of you. I feel like most salespeople that do the best is because they have a phenomenal personality, got the gift for gab. And so my mom had all these return customers, and lo and behold, it's because, you know, the girl got the gift. She can talk. She was giving therapy to these people, you know, sometimes because I didn't share, but it was a makeup store. There's so many women coming in, and as a little girl, it was a very magical experience. There's all types of women, different ages and stages, and I'm learning that the most times they're coming back because of just how funny she is and how silly she was. And so by the time I get older, you know, trying to figure out what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to do with that. I'm trying to talk to my homegirls all day and, you know, get some sales in. So I want to be an entrepreneur too. And so as I've gotten older, you know, I'm like, okay, trying to figure it out. What do I want to do? Because my mom was really authentic and like transparent as far as in like her challenges as an entrepreneur and owning a small business, I was like, okay, I don't think I want to do that. I don't think I want to do the small business route. But I'm like, I want to make dope dealer money. So how do I connect the two? How can I make dope dealer money legally, but not do small business? And I like reverse engineered this and ended up at startups. And it did take me a little time, but by the time I got to my first startup, I was like, I'm in the business. Oh my God, this is where I need to be. And they didn't know I was a woman with a plan, because I started my little entry level role, but I don't mind earning my stripes because, you know, I'm like, I won't be in this little, you know, this little entry role for long. So, you know, all this rapport and charisma, because working with my mom, it taught me really how to be a chameleon, you know, adapting to different people's personalities, giving white glove service, instantly building rapport, like condensing the time between like building connections. So they had me on the phones, and, you know, I used to work at Landing. I used to, oh my God, Dave, what? You got another maintenance request? Don't you worry. Here, look, now I'm gonna call them right now. I'm gonna put a little $50 credit on your account. It's gonna be handled by the end of the day. But so I'm just using my charisma. You never know who's watching you, but you know people are watching. And so I guess give or take maybe 6 months or so, all that darn charisma, because Aubrey told me not to cuss, all that darn charisma led me to being tapped to go to the billing department. And so at this point in time, I did have a pretty limited resume. 90% of my work experience was with my mom, but you know, you couldn't really tell because she kind of showed me all the sides of the business. And so everything else was like super low level corporate work. So child, I'm thinking, well, I done work for T-Mobile for a little while. I can help people explain their phone bill. I can work in the billing department, you know. How much is gonna be on their bill? I'm working for an apartment tech company. It's rent and utilities. I can explain that. So I get there on my first day, guys, and let's just say it was not all just looking at bills. they wanted me to do audits, and they wanted me to build reports and reporting packages for the executive leadership team. And I'm like, now y'all know I done dropped out of college and failed math twice, right? Like, what is going on? And so I'm like getting ready to co-run this billing department. It was me and one other girl. And so the man that was currently over it, I guess he was so burnt out, you know, because startups will do that to you. They had wore that baby down so bad. He said he was leaving to go hike for 6 months. So, y'all, between my training day and his flight was 9 business days. And so, I remember the morning he left, I went to the kitchen to fix my little coffee. My hands were shaking, and I'm like fixing my coffee. The tears are just streaming down my face because they gonna find out about me. I was calling my mama saying, Mom, I don't know how long I'm gonna have this job, you know? And, you know, coffee just tasting like tears and hazelnut. So all in all, I get my little 9 days of training. He flies off to go hike the PCT, and I'm about to have a full-blown panic attack. But y'all know how things work out. You be all panicked, and then, you know, you do a little research, do my little Google. You know, I done got friends with the BI team, so they could build me a little board for the things I don't understand. And I'm like trying to figure it out. And I'm really appreciating this like apprenticeship culture of startups. So along the way, though, I did kind of lose my way because, like I said, I only really had the work experience of working with my mother. And so I'm like, okay, I'm on the finance team now. I gotta shape up, you know what I'm saying? I invested in all the fly pencil skirts that ever exist. I started wearing my hair back in a slick back bun. If it wasn't a slick back bun, I had my hair so burnt, smelling like Easter from a silk press. I didn't even wear glasses, but here I am wearing glasses. Like quintessential finance was me, because I'm gonna give you the role. And so I'm like, I'm doing well. I'm actually surprising myself at how confident I am. And I'm feeling really proud of the work that I'm doing, but I'm losing some of that magic that my mom had instilled inside of me, like using your charisma, building rapport, being yourself, having fun, not caring too much about perception or how you'll be perceived. But that was my first little salary roll. I said, I can't lose this, you know. So it comes up time, things are going well, but we're getting our first visit from the San Francisco team. And at this time, I'm reporting directly to the head of revenue. Like I said, failed math twice. This was ridiculous to me. I don't even know how I got this job. So they're coming town, and here I am in my uniform, like, you know, ready to go, slick back, pencil skirt, white button down, and I don't know who I thought was gonna walk in the door, because at this point, I'd only really interacted with them through like conference calls, Slack. So they come into the door, and why is it just a cool ass white man? And my other colleague, he walks in and he's in a full fly Nike tracksuit and some J's. I immediately start glitching because one thing that I'm like trying to figure out, I'm like, so I'm working at the circus. I didn't know I didn't have to be a clown. What are y'all talking about? Y'all are out of uniform. And so come all the way down to it. The trip is going well, you know, and I'm like, okay, things are going good. I'm all prepared. I'm feeling good. I'm calling my mom, girl, yeah, I'm keeping this job. Don't worry about it no more. Like, I got this. And one of my colleagues, he pulls me to the side. And to give a little context on him, he's also Black. He was a few years older than me. And at this time, I think he was like the accounting manager or something like that. And, you know, one thing about the billing department, we get to see people's salaries. So I said, well, I'm going to take your advice because I'm trying to see what that be like to kind of check you cashing. I told you guys, I'm all on a mission of, like, drug dealer money. That's just the main mindset. So he pulls me to the side, and he's like, oh, my God, Rae'Mah, you know, you actually do really good work. Like, I just want to give you your props, give you your kudos. I put in a request. You answered immediately, but you real sweet. You, like, sugary sweet. You kind of be like people pleasing. Just I was like, God, what is he reading me? I thought this was like an advice session. And he was like, and I just want you to know, I can tell you faking it. And I was like, oh my God, y'all, if the shock, like the blood that rushed to my cheeks, I was like, what does he mean? And he was like, I don't know. It just seemed like this isn't you. Like, you from Alabama. I thought you would be different. You know, like, and I see how you be acting In the break room, be way different how you act once you get to your cubicle. You're real straight-laced once you've been in that corner. And he's like, you just should know that you could just be real. Like, who cares? Like, the guy who was the head of revenue, he was super cool. He's like, you don't care, just be yourself. And so it was kind of like a wake-up call to like, dang, okay, hold on, maybe I could just flex in. You know, it was almost like a call to home. So I had to do some internal audits, and I started testing out his theory. And so, believe it or not, the changes that ended up happening, I started, you know, I'd always shown up as myself, but it was limited. I was kind of letting imposter syndrome kind of weigh it down on me a little bit too hard. And so the first change that I noticed is that I went from being liked to being loved, and to also just like changing the culture of the team. Because here I am, I'm letting my language that's not in the English dictionary, you know, I'm letting them know I'm bilingual, that's Ebonics. You know, I'm like letting my true language seep through, I'm letting my Southern accent come out, and the way that it crafted the team, I had no idea by me showing up as myself that I would have an impact on people then feeling comfortable to bring their full self to the team. So I'm actually a few years out from this story, and I feel like this is kind of like a story that calls for metrics, because you know, usually like, Rae'Mah, I can't be myself in every environment. Like, that ain't gonna always work out. But I just kind of wanted to, because we're all young professionals here in the room, and I feel like it's so easy to try to adapt to all these imaginary rules. I gotta talk like this, I gotta dress like this, I gotta be like this, and put ourselves in a horse and pony show, and nobody ever asked you to do that. And so now I can at least let you know that being a few years ago, where I am in my career now and how this authenticity has been working out for me. I know I told you guys I wanted to make dope dealing money, and so that's how I landed on startups. So at the close of this year, at the end of 2025, I will have invested over $3.5 million into 30 startups. And that all comes down to my main differentiator. I realized that authenticity was my currency. So if anything I could say, my main thing is I learned was to just be myself and to continue becoming. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that very authentic story. I think we all right.
Thank you.
I think on behalf of the room, the authenticity was up here.
Thank you.
Let's give her another round of applause. Now, Rae'Mah, I do have a question.
Yes.
Did you ever get that snow cone?
Girl, you know,
We want to know.
I ain't gonna call my mom out. She got me a snow cone. Thank you so much. Mama, raise your hand. Thank you.
I know that's right, Mama. Yeah, I'm glad you got your snow cone, girl. All right, let's give all of our speakers a round of applause.